Be'ez Hashem, Parshas Tazria Mitzorah Toshin Pei Gimel. Let's go back to Chovis Avovas Bitochen Shurim. In the beginning of Perek Daled, the Chovis Avovas explains how a person is supposed to, from the one side, do ishtadlus and not do anything that's not achrayizdik, not taking responsibility. If it's about dangerous, you're not allowed to get yourself into danger in any way. And if the Chavis always elaborates that if you get into danger, then if something chas v'shalom happens, then it's like you killed someone, even if that someone is yourself. But it's like retzicha, and you can't say that it was bashert, because you should have been doing better than that. You should have known that you're supposed to watch out, and you're supposed to take caution and all that. And then the Chavis Avova says, and you're supposed to be boicher always to do the right things, even though Hashem is going to do what He wants anyways. Ada sprach. The sprach is, you should be boicher hatoiv kanira loy min ha'inyan. You should choose what's best, what it makes sense is best. V'elokim yaseh ma shekodmo boi gezei rosoi. Kodmo, which is what Hashem was going to do what Hashem decided, regardless what you choose. Now, it's very hard for people. There's a big koshi, there's a deep hardship for people to work and put the effort into something and the whole heart to try to get a certain result, when they feel that 1 second Hashem is going to do what Hashem wants anyways. So what's the point? A lot of people ask that question in many different ways, in various. Some people ask the question, why should I daven? Now some say, why should I daven? Hashem is doing what's best. Some say, why should I daven? Hashem has a gzeira, Hashem has a system, and Hashem is going to do what Hashem wants anyways, because I believe in Hashem, because of Hashgacha Pratis. But that question is not only regarding davening. It's also negeya about ishtadlus. If it's true that Hashem is going to do anyways, mashakot mubeg zerose, what's bashert, so people have a psychological hardship. It's hard for the nefesh to get invested emotionally to something that you feel, 1 second, Hashem is going to do whatever He wants anyways. I want to give a few examples to be able to narrow it down. We should understand what exactly is the topic of today's shir. You need some examples. You sometimes have a meeting. There's the boss, there's the CEO, there's a lot of different big guys that sit around the table, and we want to discuss the problems in the business. And at a certain stage, you will always have someone that says, you know something, I don't feel that I'm needed here, because every time I give my piece of advice, you do what you want anyways. So why am I sitting here? You ever heard that? Many times. It's a zach. It's a sugya, this. What's so painful? What is so painful? So what people are usually going to say is, it's a waste of time. You think I have time for this nonsense? Or it's a waste of energy? But it's not true. It's very not accurate. The biggest sign is that people don't have a problem wasting time. Kiyodua. People waste 50% of the day, they're not so pained. So he's not saying, you think I have time for this nonsense? If you want to do what you want to do, get me out of here. I'll do much more important things. It's not that. It's not that. So what is it that's so painful? It goes into the essence of the nefesh. It's a deep nuku. It's not about the time, not about the energy. The human being he's a human being. It's not something like a creation. Human being has a mind, has emotion, and something much deeper than that, and we discussed it in the previous shir, about the rotzon, the deep rotzon of the person. A person has not a will, it's deeper than that, a tshuka. y- yearning, learning. A person wants something very badly to happen. That touches a very deep part of the essence of the person. When you want something to happen, you want it to happen. That feeling of rotzon, that you want something to get to from point A to point B, or you're looking at, it doesn't have to be with yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be that I should get to somewhere or I should have money. It could be that you did something that you were invested in, and you were hoping that you're going to see fruit. You're going to see something happening. Baruch Hashem, the results of you got invested, you worked. When a person puts themselves into something, their whole insides, they want it, emotionally connected to it, and then they're let down. It's the opposite. There's a specific feeling that a person feels. They're very down. We mentioned from the Sefer Ikrim in the beginning of last year that when a person has a very built up a rotzon, more and more and more, towards hoping that this is going to be the result and this is going to happen, and then it didn't happen, that's what's called depression. That's what the Sefer Garishan. We have not a book. That's what the Sefer Ikrim says, word for word. You could see it when people get emotionally invested in Bechiras, in elections. In elections, like what happened? You're so not. They get invested by their own Bechira. They chose to follow the news, to feel part of this team in this game. And when that happens, so if they won, they're cheering up and whatever. But if not, then it's atzvis. It's mamish. It's not stam atzvis. It's atzvis, but we're trying to bring out an akuda. A person feels that part of his life, part of his essence, something died inside. At kedei kach is the feeling when someone gets emotionally invested to something so badly and then he's let down. Dikaon. Yeah. That's what it's called. Dikaon. Now, someone that's a choshev young man, he which is a Baal Tshuva, he told me that when in the beginning stages, when he was doing the change in his life, and there was games, he was part of, he felt affiliated to this team, if it was football or whatever it was, and if there was a game that there was no one to talk to. Now there's a game he has to follow, he has to watch, he has to... And he remembers till today the man that was his mentor, that was giving him the Varmka, the Chizik said, the day you're going to be able to say, they won, not we won, that's when you disconnected. Now you're in. Now, it's very stark in the Geya. Every time a person is going through a certain matziv, which is every day. It's mamash every day. It doesn't necessarily have to do with Yisurim at all. It's not after when a person is suffering. Every person, they're trying to get things done, minor, bigger, major, it doesn't make a difference. When a person gets invested in something, and they're putting effort into it, so now they feel they put their life into it. People say it. People actually say, I put my life into this. They're talking accurate. That's not a slang. Because when you invest into something, it's not the time. It's not that people say, what do you mean? I get paid. I'm not doing this for free or something. It's not the money. It's not the time. It's not the... people say, I really worked hard. Deeper, much deeper than all the above. They took their koiches hanefesh, and they put part of their life into this. It's part of their life. Agav, that's the Yesod of Rav Talmud. The Rebbe is putting his life in, and then that's what the Gemara says. Masechtas Makos is about. If a Talmud goes to Golus, the Rav has to go along because it says V'chai, the famous Gemara. You can't take away his life from him. It's not like a plain Musa drosha of a mashgiach that Torah is your life. It's be'emes like that a person and parents and the children, they put themselves, their rotzon and their emotions onto the topic.
Dessler says that's why a person will love even a doimim. Like if you have a car that you keep fixing, you get rid of it, sell it.
Hafla fella. Rav Dessler. That if a person has a pet, it's for sure like that. But even he's trying to bring out, even if it's a doimim, if it's his car, or you see people in their house, they can't leave go. You don't need this house anymore. What's the difference? Because they are in that house. And it's not about the money. Don't let yourself get fooled. It's not how much money I put in. And it's not how much time you put in. It's about the machshavas and the retzoinus, which is deeper than the machshavas. When your rotzen got into something, and the biggest raya is the elections, such sachen. It's not like you paid for anything or something like that. If this team lost or this candidate lost, it makes no difference between me and you most of the time. It's just some luxury. All the time, you think that this was better, the other thing was better, but his rotten got into it because he got brainwashed because of the surroundings. It's usually brainwashed. It's shtusim and advertisements, and that's it. If not, then he lays in bed. He's depressed. He can't get back to himself. It's like Tisha B'Av afternoon, like he can't believe it. Back to the Yesodis. When a person is trying to push it in his life, people get up in the morning, they wish to put a system in, people want to get things done. People want to move in life. In all aspects of life. Next, Monday morning, let's this business deal, parnosa, family issues, and as a Now, when a person wants something so badly, and he's invested in it because he did ishtadlas. The Rebbeinu Shem told him, do ishtadlas. The Rebbeinu Shem told him, do tefillah. These are the two. They are, in the previous shiur we discussed that it's a set. This is b'dibur, this is b'maisa, this is b'machshava, remembering the Rebbeinu Shem. You have a set, how much you should get invested. The tefillah and the ishtadlas are the two parts where, b'vakasha, get going. Whatever. You should yarba b'schoire, yivakish rachmem and misha oisha shaloi. Ma'yas odem v'yechkam. Same thing. You should sit in yeshiva. You should hours and hours be omol b'toira, and you should daven your heart out that you should be matzliach. That's what you should do. Now, if a person does that, and then he's told, I just forgot to tell you in the small words, Hashem will do whatever he wants anyways. That's the problem. It's depressing, even if it's not the sugi of Yisurim. It doesn't have to be that he's suffering with a psatzora. He's like, you can't, I can't. It's Pisam Viram says. I can't. Pisam Viram says you built, and then it all fell down. So I can't get invested into something, and then I should know, or sometimes you watch. Someone tried so hard, and then listen, Hashem wanted different. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem, but by you being bechayev me, by you pushing me, by forcing me to do the ishtadlus so strong, you told me, don't be lazy, don't get up in the morning, try again, make that phone call again. Then you are putting me into the matziv of being invested emotionally into it. You did that. I wasn't. I was gonna say to him and sing to the Rebbeinu Shlem and say whatever the Rebbeinu Shlem wants is good for me. I'm fine, and I'm be'emes. I don't want to put my hopes high. Not about my future, not about my children, because I know what's going to happen. This is ecological. I'm going to put my hopes high. I'm going to go, and then, I'm going to be finished. So this is my way of handling it. My way of handling it is what the Rebbeinu wants to do, he should do, and it's good, it's fine. And then the Chovos HaLevavos says, no. Gotta be very, very careful. And chas v'shalom to be lazy for 1 second. This is the challenge. The challenge is that a person doesn't want to get invested once he starts chapping. Hashem is not b'chlal following his orders. B'chlal not. And that's when you hear people saying that you think I should daven? Maybe I shouldn't daven for it. Now, many times they go to a tzaddik, and the tzaddik tells him, Chas v'sholem, you should continue davening, because even if don't say that out of your mouth. Of course you should daven. Okay? They go out of the room. They say, okay, the Rebbe said we should daven. They continue davening for another few months, and then there's a levaya. And they're like, okay, I don't chap. The guy's like, I was maskim. I didn't mean anything. All I said was I was trying to accept the matzv. I wasn't upset. The doctor said what the doctor said. I understood what's happening. What's the point of trying another doctor and trying another thing and trying another thing, and then they go back, no, you should try again, you should daven again. So what? I should fall down from 50 stories? I have a moon, I'm fine. It's a challenge. It's a very, very big challenge, this Nakuda. And as long we have to work on it to try to figure this out, emotionally, psychologically, so it shouldn't be a steer in the person, and he should be able to, even if a person has a disappointment, but he should figure it out. The person, it's like a Rubik's Cube. You should know where to put it. Where to put the emotion. What am I feeling? Why am I devastated? That's the yesod. And when a person could figure out this Rubik's Cube, what they're feeling, and why they're so devastated, then you could ease so much pain and have such clarity in Amunah. It's so different. Even when Matzavim or whatever they are, but they have a name, a draw, where to put things. So here we go. The mistake that usually we make is, once again, that Hishtadlus was meant that we should get emotionally invested. And by Tefillah, our mistake is much deeper, because it's so the line is it's so thin. We thought that Tefillah means we should get emotionally invested. Avodah shebelev. Avodah shebelev. If I'm standing there and I'm just saying it and I'm closing the sit and say what's new, that wasn't davening. Davening was like, I put my hopes so high. I really believed that Rosh can make it happen. But there's a mistake, not a big mistake, a little mistake, a minor mistake. Which just this mistake is where people, they don't want to. If I know it's not going to happen, then I don't want to. Or I'll daven, but I like keep a certain distance, boundaries. Like you shouldn't get. The Yesod Advarim is that's not why. That's not the mahalach. That's not the tzura of how a person does a shad and how a person does tefillah. We are here in this world with a shlichus to help the Rebbeinu Shlem's plan happen, not to help our plan happen. B'chlal not. There's no mokum for our plan. Be'etzim, there's no place for it. It's mamish like we mentioned before. There's the boss, there's the CEO, there's the guy of the business. That's it. It belongs to him, and you're a worker for him, and you're bringing the plans to the table. You have a vision. You weren't here to bring visions. That's not your place. The vision is the balabos. You're here to be able to execute the balabos's vision. Now, how do you say getrai? A devoted, right? A loyal, devoted eved or worker, whatever it is, he takes chiyas from be able to bring his order and his boss's rotzon to Lamaisa. He enjoys it. And slowly that forms a relationship. Because the boss feels you give it to him, he really is going to do whatever he could to make what I want should happen. That's the reason. And slowly there's a trust that builds. If it's built Yesodis, they give me, it's built the way it's supposed to be, there's a trust. Because it goes both ways. Because the boss sees that he's serious and he doesn't have him, he's not part of the picture. He's not trying to become the guy. He just enjoys to be able to implement, to bring out Lamaisa what he wants, what the Balabas wants. And it's very interesting. You could sometimes hear a boss of a business, a boss, that when he finds out that this worker there is looking into going on his own, he feels betrayed. He feels that Yena is a Ganav. What happened? He has a mishpacha. He wants to be able to earn more. He's trying to. So sometimes he's taking maybe the ideas that he learned by me, and he's becoming my competition. I'm not getting. It's not the sugya now, but when it's not, he's looking into something else. He's not going into your field b'chlal. But he feels you were supposed to become loyal to me. I feel that you're here, but you're not here. You have your agenda, and if you are invested in your agenda, seid gesund l'chaim tevim l'shalom. Huh? Shabbos, I never chapped. I never understood that the Gemara. Haman tells Achashverosh, you should know the Yidden. They're always saying today's Shabbos, today's Pesach. So we could see from that Gemara there's something deeper, because it's not always Shabbos and it's not always Pesach. Right? Shabbos is once a week and Pesach is once a year. He told them you should get rid of all the Eden. Get rid of them. Kill them out. They're not part of your Malucha. They're not part of the Malucha because it's always or Shabbos or Pesach. It sounds a little bit exaggerated, but the deep concept behind it is they have a different agenda. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they have a different agenda. They're not here. They're not loyal to you. So you have all these, if it's communism or whatever, the system is built that all the people should be loyal. There's in many different ways. But back to the nakuda of the system of the Bria, the fact is that the Rebbe Hashem is the boss, and every neshama has a unique journey that it's supposed to take in order for this neshama to get to its tikkun. And no shaykhs, and this is a journey. It's computerized beforehand. That this is the journey that the neshama has to take. When I say computerized, I mean kach gozra. Before the neshama came down to this world, the Rishonim say, and all well, it's like mamash. The whole way was blueprint of the system the neshama is going to have to take. It's going to have to go through this and this and this. Now we know that even though the neshama has to go through a certain maslul, a journey, but it's not a journey which is bedafka specifically in kilometers or dafka. You could change around because it's a journey, internal journey. That's the yesod. It's an internal journey. So sometimes the neshama could reach that point by a situation that they're going through, and sometimes they could reach it by something that they learned, or by heavy Yeruchni is the work that they worked with themselves. Many different ways. That's why it's not etched in stone that it's going to be bidyuk like this and nothing is going to change it, not tefillah, not ashtadlis. No. But the journey that the neshama, the birurim it's called, that the neshama has to go through is it's interesting. It's a journey. And we come into this world and we're like, we watch, okay, we just want to be like normal, like we say, welcome normal, which is not such a thing. It's just, the oilam is like a place. We're here, everybody does what they have to do, but they're all on their own path. They're not going, when you on the highway, and you see it's like a huge highway with like 5 lanes to each side, and the little child is asking his father, where's the oilam going? He says, I don't know. No, but most guys, everybody's going to somewhere else. They're using the highway, but the zikr not going to the same place. This is the makam of this world. Our job here is to be loyal to the boss and say, how could I help? How could I help this neshama come to its journey? I wake up in the morning, I say, okay, what do you have on the list? And you start putting done, like, okay, I should daven today? Hashem says, yeah, you should daven. But daven geschmack. Okay, no problem. They go daven. Afterwards, it's the same like when people open their phones after davening, let's hope. They open their or they get into the office and they look and they're like, unread messages and like a whole list to do. It's a list to do. It's a list to do to the Rebbeinu Shalom. So the Ishtadlus is to try to bring the Rotzen from the Rebbeinu Shalom should be able to come to Lamaisa. The Tefillah is the same. Emotionally, a person wants that the Rebbeinu Shalom's Rotzen, he has such a Rotzen that the Rebbeinu Shalom's Rotzen should come. And today is a good, in this shir, we're not talking about when a person is suffering. That's a big madrege, and we discussed the previous shir. No, we're talking about Baruch Hashem, the day to day. It's not so hard for persons to start a program in their mind that they should try to, who is the Rebbeinu Shalom sending me today? What does the Rebbeinu Shalom want me to learn today? What does he want me to understand? What does he want me to be oisik? What type of mitzvah? What type of chesed? And when things come up, I say, "Oh, that was an interesting one. I knew something is coming. That's a cool twist." That's how they look at it. Now, it really makes it easier for the person, but not because it's a chokhmah. It's the truth. It's be'em is the truth. That is the Matthias. Now, here it's where we're getting to the nakud. We didn't yet fa'emfa. By Ishtadlus, it's easier to understand that the Rebbeinu Shalom has a gzeira, and the person is supposed to try to make that gzeira happen. Now, they don't know, the person doesn't have a screen where it says exactly what's supposed to happen, and you just follow orders and it's done. Person comes and he doesn't know. So you're supposed to try. That's what the Chovos says. You say, I would estimate the Mistama the Rebbeinu Shalom wants me now to do this. I asked my Rov, or it makes sense, or this is what came up. This is a mitzvah right last night. Now it's what's important. So Mistama, that's what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. So I'm going to be invested, hoping that I was matzliach to pinpoint to zutreffen. And to identify, to chap, Mistama, that's what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants of me now, like such a zach. And I'm going to have a know that I hope the Rebbeinu Shalom, say tefillah, Rebbeinu Shalom, I hope we go in the right direction, and try to do it the best possible if the moich that the person has now, if the koiches that they have right now. But then, they always on alert that the Rebbeinu Shalom should say, no, that's not what I wanted. It's like when a person's trying to say the name of a person. No, it's not. I don't mean him. I don't mean that. So they're fine. It means they could have a drop of a disappointment or whatever, but the Rebbeinu Shalom wants like that. So it's like that. Because when they're doing it, they're trying to be loyal to their boss to execute the Rebbeinu Shalom's plans constantly. If they don't do it, then they're not doing their job and they're not loyal to the balabos. And if that's the case, then the Rebbeinu Shalom is not having nachas from them. But they get invested, not that it's theirs. They get invested in the shlichus, thinking the whole time, I hope I'm being loyal and doing my shlichus. They feel very good if they did a shlichus.
And if it doesn't bring the result, it doesn't mean that you didn't do your shlichus.
The result? I wasn't meant. The Rebbeinu Shalom didn't tell me to do that. A person only is busy the whole time to have such. He's constantly thinking yes results, not results, only if they want to feel that they're doing. But if they understand that you're being loyal and you're giving nachas, you're doing your job by doing what you're doing, this is what I needed you to do. That's it. Then they don't feel such a strong need to constantly test to see if they have results or not. Because they take a simcha by actually executing what they were told to do. This is a task. The task is done. Many times you have such a case. A smart person tells a certain shliach, listen to me carefully, go to that person in the shul after mincha, tell him that I sent you. It's just a reminder that what he promised me half a year ago, I'm just reminding him about it. Okay, the shliach goes, he waits for the guy after mincha, he makes sure it's the right guy, he goes over to him, okay, I just want to tell you I'm a shliach from this and this guy, and I just wanted to tell you, he said I should remind you what you promised a half a year ago. I want to remind you. And then he forgot to ask his balabos what should he expect as a reaction, or he should give him money, or he forgot to ask. So he's all lost, and from not knowing what to do, he just walks away, and he feels so stupid. He's like toxic. Like, he comes back to the balabos, he says, did you do what I did? He's like all apologetic, and I'll tell you the truth, I told him. And what you do afterwards? He says, I didn't know what to do, I just walked away. He says, oh, perfect, this is what I want you to do. I wanted you to tell him, and I wanted you to just walk away. It's a Yesoid. The Yesoid is when the Rebbe Shem is saying, do it and walk away. Because this is what I want you to do. It's not your job to get invested. People get so devastated when they're invested. They feel it's their zach. The Mesholim that we gave right in the beginning of the Shir, elections and teams and zach, and some people get it by their chassidus. They lose it. They lose the balance. They lose the balance. There's a musik of feeling connected, but they got connected so badly to the chitonias of something that they forgot that they're invested in Avodas Hashem. They totally forgot. It's much more like a baseball team, feeling part of something. Tefillah here, it's more sensitive when you get to tefillah. Tefillah l'maisa is the same. Tefillah is the same. When a person davens for ruchnias, he wants the Rebbeinu Shlem, the Rebbeinu Shlem's rotzen should be niskayim. He wants his gadol his kadosh meirabah. He so badly wants to succeed in ruchnias because he knows that the Rebbeinu Shlem wants that. Now, when it comes to ruchnias, a person is promised that if you're going to mean it right, and you're going to say Tehillim, and you're going to try to invest, what's my mistakes, and what should I try this way, the other way, you're going to be successful in ruchnias. Because Hashem is going to help you go the right direction.
But the picture of that success might not be what you want.
No, as long as a person has a certain specific picture, then they're not invested in ruchnias. That we have to constantly remind ourselves. When he says, Areini Hashem darkecha, Yachad levav v'liyur eshmecha. There's so many psukim in Tehillim. Help me, I want the truth. Help me, just guide me. And if a person is serious about it, not only they invest themselves be'emes in such type of tefillah, they also try to learn from mistakes. They're invested in learning from mistakes. They get up because it's not about me. Again it didn't work, and again I failed. They got up again, and part of it is believing. I could have 100 failures, but the Rebbeinu Shlem is going to help me. That works 100% of the times. 100. There's no yotzim aklal. Even though, and it's important to know this, by these shurim we're always like putting down people's hopes and like they're specific. But in ruchnias, if a person is trying to get the Rebbeinu Shlem's rotzen, is doing the right tools, they learn how to daven for it and how to do the right ishtadlus for it. That's what the Rebbeinu Shlem wants, so that's what's going to happen. Because the Rebbeinu Shlem wants you to be successful in ruchnias. Period. As long as the person is not putting a certain picture that he wants to be a yeshiva, that yeshiva, it's a mistake 10 times over again. But as long as they want to, then they're going to chap it. And when they chap it, they're going to be so moli simcha. And it doesn't have an end, because there's always something else. There's always something higher madrega, or something deeper that they didn't chap, or a new challenge that comes up. But they know to do the same exact mahalach, which brings to success. When a person's davening for gashmias, they cannot, you can't by the tefillah decide that this is going to be the tool how to build my emotionally the rotten more and more to what I want. That's a mistake. And you watch people that they're themselves moided that they're making that mistake, because they're saying like this: I used tefillah till now because I was sure that I'm going to be able to make it happen the way I want. If I'm realistic, that means after 5 years I said, you know something, let me be realistic. The Rebbeinu Shlem doesn't want whatever it is. Then I don't want to daven anymore. Why? Because they were using tefillah as something to bring out their tzonos more, to get invested in it, and they felt that is causing them the pain. That exactly is going in the pain. So what's the point? So let me rather be Messiah Das. Let me decide that I leave go. I don't care. I couldn't care less. It's fine. So the pain doesn't have to be so deep. But tefillah was never meant to be a tool for that. Tefillah is the same idea as a shtadlus, the concept that what you're trying to do is you're trying to bring the Rebbeinu Shalom's rotzen here. So when there's a choile, the Rebbeinu Shalom wants you. You don't know. You have no idea what's supposed to be the choile. The Rebbeinu Shalom wants you to daven for that choile, to bring the shefa to that choile. Example, very simple example. What's if this choile is supposed to live? The rotzen from the Rebbeinu Shalom is that the choile should live 19 years on this world. 19 years. Now, at the age of 12, they were diagnosed. Shem Yirachem. Started chemo, celebrity, they're busy. Now, the guys there were ups and downs, and they were out of it, and they found it again. And it's hard, it's hard to talk about it because it's so painful. The B'em is painful. But you don't have the right to say, you know something? I don't care anymore. 18 years, 19 years, I don't care. Hey. The Rebbeinu wants 19 years, but it needs the tefillah to bring it from 18 to 19. It needs the doctor to bring it from 12 to 19. Because of what you tried, you know you gave him 5 years. It's not about your nachas, nothing to do with that. It's about the shlichus, which you don't know. That's why it gets so hard, because you don't know. If the Rebbeinu would say, listen, come here, sit down. Listen, it's 19. Your tefillah, we're going to get it to 17 and a half. Plus doctors, equals, times. Okay, we're going to get, this is the plan, okay? And then a person would have a much easier time. Because, okay, I have it. Let me swallow it. Let me digest it. This is what it is. They know exactly what they're in for. But they have no idea. And they're on such a roller coaster of hopes that are high and devastating news. And again, I don't want to get stuck into Yesudim type of mode because it's only one of the Gemores. The concept is, anytime you get invested in anything, you're trying to do the shlichus. And constantly, Hashem is changing. That's what gets so... now the doctor said like that. Now the doctor said like that. Now the mashgiach threw him out of yeshiva. Okay. Reset. From the beginning. I had this like a whole plan. Is many times, they invested... time and money and tears and tzaddikim in getting this marriage over the ground and putting the right help from 17 sides, and then it busted. They came home. She came home. Okay. Now, when a person's starting to exercise and be talking on tefillah, it doesn't mean that it's so easy to go through this, but the exercise is geboit, that it made very much sense for me to invest in this marriage because that was my shlichus. That was my shlichus. Today, when I got a phone call, the Rebbeinu Shalom said, "Okay, now is a different shlichus." So it's easy said and done by a million times. But the more a person understands that those tefillahs that you davened, they were to bring the shefa for that. Now, okay, now we need shefa for something else.
So many people say that there's difference in the quality of tefillah and echos. So when something didn't go, they look back, they said, if only I would have done better, stronger. If I believe in the power of tefillah, it would have been better.
Yeah, it's a famous mistake. It's a very common mistake. If only I would have davened harder. You could be sure that it wouldn't have helped. You know why? Because those people that are saying that, the problem is that they daven too hard. Not that they didn't daven harder. Behemoth, you could see, we could hear, if you speak to those people, they were, if I'm going to want strong enough, if I'm going to push strong enough, if I'm going to cry strong enough, then it's going to happen. I should have mamish, I should have broke the table, but... Yeah, but it's not, Vanitzak is a very true thing, Vanitzak. But Vanitzak is the neshama screaming from a golus, help me. The neshama is in pain. Someone came to the Shomer Emunim Rebbe and told the Rebbe that he was in Yerushalayim 70, 80 years ago. He said, I'm selling this and this product, and then now someone else started selling it. He's taking me a panos. He started crying. He told him, it doesn't make sense to cry for Parnasa. He said, first of all, in Yerushalayim, there's enough for two. But second of all, it doesn't make sense to cry for something like that. So let me tell you something. You're not crying. Your neshama is crying. Your neshama is in pain. Let me help you. Come daven by me. And then you'll see how much you're going to be nigal. When a person has a tzora, it's irritating their neshama. That's what's happening. The pain is from the neshama. Now they think if they're going to take away the thing that irritates, no. It's true that it's before it irritated the neshama, didn't feel the pain. But if you're going to heal and soothe the neshama, then the thing that's irritating is not going to irritate it anymore, even if it's right there, stuck there. It's not going to irritate it, b'chlal. That's the yesod of pain. It's the yesod of pain. So when a person they feel such pain because they're not mesuder in their mind. They want it so bad. No, don't tell me this. They hear and they're invested in it and they can't hear the other side. But be'emes, the mahalach was different. The mahalach of tefillah is, if the person is supposed to stay alive, it might be the ratzon from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Of course I'm davening. I'm going to say by every refainu. And if the doctors are going to say what they say, I'm going to keep on davening ma kesher. Now the person who stands there might not. When the Rebbe tells that guy, don't stop davening, chas v'sholem, he doesn't mean to say, no, continue living in denial. That's not what he said. You understood that because you never chapped. He did not say that. He's telling you, no, you shouldn't have lived in denial from the first place. Well, what does that have to do with davening? Davening means that when I daven, when I believe in refuah, I bring refuah down to the world. Do you know that the Torah says there are 27 words in refuah? And he brings 3 psukim, 3 places in the Torah. The Parshas Mil has 27 times the name of the Rebbeinu Shalom. Vayoyimim Shemoy Tishmoel Ken Yeshem Nefecho has 27 words in the pasuk. He brings the Torah in Hilchos Tefillah, in Hilchos Shmoneh Esrei. When you say the bracha of refuah, every single time you bring the refuah down to this world, you have a shaila that it's your shlichus. It's your shlichus for sure. Every single time, with a moed gesimcha, but you're not testing it with something. A person not a malach. Of course, a person has ups and downs, and they be'emes have what they want. But how do you help yourself? You help yourself by the tefillah and the ishtadlus is my loyalty to the Rebbeinu Shalom to execute his rotzen. Being that I don't know, so I have to do kanir lev in an inyan. I always have to make sure to be cautious and not get into sakonas. I always have to do ishtadlus to be able to help the parnasa, because the Rebbeinu Shalom want, when the results are the opposite, I look up to the Rebbeinu Shalom and say, wow, now I really thought I had it right. I guess I have it wrong. Or when the Rebbeinu Shalom changes in the middle. The good news is that slowly, when a person gets that feeling, again and again and again, and he tries to do the rotzen and he asks Rebbeinu Shalom, help me, what's going to happen is he's going to develop that geschmacke relationship from loyalty, that there's a trust between the two. And then it's going to keep him going. It's going to keep him going, because even if he had a different rotzen, which is true, we have a guf, it does pull us to the other way. It's emes la'amitai, but on the other hand, he feels very close to Rebbeinu Shalom. Because the fact is that when you keep on doing toivas for someone, you get emotionally connected. By Rebbeinu Shalom, it's not really a toiva, you're doing a toiva for yourself, but you're doing a shlichus, there's a connection, it forms a relationship. That's the yesod. It doesn't contradict b'chlal. The yesod of the Rebbeinu Shalom has his system, and the system has to go, and how you could have chiyas in doing ishtadlus and tefillah, and it shouldn't cause you to be devastated when it didn't happen. That's lamadrach.